drink me some pop.
Hi, welcome. You've reached the caddyinfo.com Cadillac Chat. We do these when people are available on Thursday nights at 7:30 or 7:33 Central Time. I have with me tonight, formerly Air Mike, now ATS-V Mike from the Caddy Info forums.
Hola.
Still Air Mike, of course, on the forums, I think. But we're celebrating after... during one of these chats, we went through and looked at all the different options on the ATS-V, and I was stunned to realize that the ATS-V was actually less expensive than I thought. I thought that you had to have a certain option package, which is about $10,000, and Mike and I proved me wrong by reading through the options and picking through the options carefully, and that kind of got me on a path where I ended up buying my new 2016 ATS-V. And I was up early last Saturday morning, and I got a text from random stranger who said he was on his way to get an ATS-V. So pick us up on the story from there, Mike.
Well, we both got corrupted. Yes.
So this is what happens if you talk about fun cars, is you end up owning fun cars. So please come talk about fun cars.
Well, my wife went and bought her a Nissan.
The plot thickens.
And decided she was ready to get rid of her Mustang. And being we were getting rid of it, I was either just sell it or trade it. So I had two cars to trade. And that made it where I figured I could go ahead and get that ATS. So I went around to different places checking them out. And there was a major difference in prices just by looking around. There was $16,000 difference between the MSRP and the price with my trade-in that I paid.
Which was fascinating. Yeah, the different offers you got for your trades. And so obviously you did a good job of being a smart shopper and negotiating well on to get the value out of your trades, right?
I guess I must have. At least I was happy with what I did.
And that's the true test, is if you're happy with the result. And no buyer remorse for you. This was the one question Mike had for me. Not, is the performance, is the cornering, how's the miles per gallon been, not the reliability. His one question for me was, have you regretted buying the car?
Not the actual buying the car, but the XLR leaving.
Yeah, trading. Because I was in the same situation where I traded two Cadillacs for one. And so... But you found the right one, and it's black, which almost you would have fallen in love with the blue for a minute there.
Well, I went over to Joplin. That's what got me to the one that was the least options and the highest priced. But it was mostly to look at the car and decided if I even liked that blue. Actually, in the showroom with fluorescent lights and all, it wasn't really the greatest color in the world, but when I got them to get it outside, I really did like it, and I would have bought either color when the price came right with the correct options and all. And you know, I wasn't having a loaded car. I just wanted Recaro seats, heads-up display, and what else was? Oh, that suede steering wheel. And
the PDR. You wanted the carbon fiber and the PDR.
Well, that was just, they came along with what I got. I wasn't willing to spend money for them particularly.
Yeah, that's what I thought, that you were locked in on. You wanted a black one with a manual transmission. And then after that, it was kind of, but the Recaro seats, you're right, because you had asked me about the Recaro seats.
Right.
And so I'm glad, but you ended up getting a pretty heavily loaded model because it has the Recaro seats, which is a $2,300 option. It has the carbon fiber package, which was a $5,000 option. And then it had several miscellaneous kind of things, right? I'm sorry,
Well,
do you need to get that?
I don't know. I need to see what it is, I guess. No, I don't need to get it right now.
Maybe somebody calling to let you know you're on the internet.
I need to check and make sure it wasn't the job calling, but I'm
yes. Good. So he got the track performance package. So when I said the carbon fiber package, he actually got the track performance package, which is a combination of the carbon fiber package and the PDR. And so the carbon fiber package gives you a low mass battery. So they're supposed to have given you 2 batteries.
There is a battery in the trunk. Now, is yours under the hood?
No, but you got the gel type, like, I don't remember the brand name, but the battery, the low mass battery is like, what are the ultralight expensive batteries that people buy that don't have water in them?
Optima.
Yeah, it's like that.
Right.
You don't have a tire sealant and inflator kit because you save 2 pounds there.
Right.
And then you get the carbon fiber package, including the front splitter, the air extractor, the rear diffuser, and you get non-carbon fiber black rocker extensions and a body color rear spoiler finish out the kit. So I'm not practiced enough to look at one ATS-V and another ATS-V and tell which one has the carbon fiber kit on it, which one does not. But apparently you can't. One can.
Yeah, you can especially tell on a light colored car. The carbon fiber air extractor on the hood is pretty obvious in a light colored car, but on a black car, it's not real obvious, or a dark gray colored car, which you have.
Now, the other thing is, as we said, the Recaro seats, you got an automatic, the Cadillac user experience package, which gives you the nav system, the power outlet, and the Bose surround sound, dark gold calipers, which must look striking with the black paint, and
yes,
then the suede microfiber steering wheel and shifter.
And the shifter on the manual transmission, I was ecstatic about that shifter. On this automatic, you grab it one time, whoop-de-doo. But I really do love the steering wheel. It's like my favorite thing on the whole car.
The Alcantara steering wheel, right? This says suede microfiber steering. Previously, they were saying Alcantara, but so maybe they've changed that a little bit. So yeah, I think you made an excellent choice. Now, by the time he got this set of options, then the sticker price on it would have been $74,000. And so he got a great deal, traded his 2 cars, and then a little bit more, and came home with the new ATS-V.
Correct. I assumed from our conversation at the dealer that they probably had my XLR sold by the time I got there with it, assuming it was like I said it was.
Yeah, I like that story. Now, did you have any other riders on the car? Like, yeah, I was a little chagrined with my friends and our site sponsor, Crest Cadillac, when I actually asked them to send over the invoice so I could write a check before I went to the dealership, to find that there was another adder below the MSRP.
I'm not following your.
Well, they had tinted the windows and added some identification markings on the car, and then wanted another, $800 or $900 for that.
Oh, well, my windows are tinted, and I assume they had to have done it. But my agreement when I got there was $1,700 out the door.
We're done.
Yeah, and that's the way it came.
Yes, and to be fair, that's how Crest and I ended up settling out as well. Although my out of pocket was more than your out of pocket, because I was trading not an XLRV and not a newer car. So, right. But congratulations! I'm excited about that. I was trying to think now if we had the live. The CTS-V, like Cadillac Gem CTS-V, has a live G meter. I was trying to think of what contest we could have for the ATS-Vs on the site, to see who could get the highest G's, who could get the lowest 0 to 60 as recorded on the PDR and proven by snapshot, and so on.
Right. I would have to make sure mine's out of break-in period, or else
Get yours broke in good. Yeah, that won't take a minute. That'll take. Now we already know whose is the shiniest. Is Mike right away cleaned his up real slick and then posted pictures of that.
Yes, I was really disappointed how bad it felt being brand new, but I mean, I know they get shipped outside, and I don't know. I think they washed it. It looked clean and everything, but you rub your hand over it, it wasn't smooth at all. So, the atmospheric droplets, whatever you call it.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to take the clay bar challenge and get caught up. That I've actually got the Cadillac event that we'll talk about in a minute that I'm doing this weekend. So it's not going to be this week, but unless I get to it Friday, which is possible, because I have to clean the car up before I take it anywhere. So maybe, but I am very excited about your ATS-V, and I hope you now. One of the things that Mike always said though is he was going to keep his XLR-V forever.
Yeah, I was.
It was a lifetime car.
Really what got me changed my mind to that was problems getting headlights, taillights, and I could just see something happening to it, and then I have a car that's worthless. And
yeah, the replacement parts.
Right. The mechanical, I was never scared of the car mechanically. If it broke, you could buy stuff, you could fix it.
Well, and you're a pretty good mechanic too.
Well, I don't know how good I am, but I make stuff happen. I get it done one way or the other usually. But I've never heard of anybody fabbing up a headlight. So if you can't buy a headlight, what are you to do? I mean, somebody maybe can make a headlight somewhere. I don't know, but
yeah, but for such a limited edition vehicle, it's unlike unless they share that headlight with something else, which I'm guessing they did not. Then it's unlikely that you'll be able, you have to come up with something else.
Since I first started hearing that, I think it was the driver's side headlight that was unavailable. I couldn't say for sure, but I saw somebody found 4 sets of European spec headlights that you can use. They work. They don't have DOT approved, whatever, but they're going to work. You got to buy the pair, $22 or $300. Well, that'll be all right. Your insurance will probably take care of that. But if you want them, if I kept the car, I was just going to have to fork out $2,000 the way I saw it and keep them laying around here for the day something might happen.
Yes.
And I don't know. I just decided it needed to go.
Yeah, I had an expensive thing with mine right off the bat with the electronic brake control module, but now I had a better understanding how to address that if it ever happened again. But my impression of the XLR as compared with my STS-V is that the XLR was much more fragile, much more finicky than the STS-V was. Now that may not be the case, and so those of you playing at home, if you disagree, hit the comments and tell me that you think I'm completely wrong. But that was my impression. Now that by itself wouldn't have ruled the day necessarily if I wasn't in a situation where I needed to replace my daily driver. And then that led me down this path of, I was in a situation where if I traded both my cars, then I could get a brand new ATS-V. And so that's what I ended up doing.
Well, personally, I was never afraid of the car mechanically. I figure most everything, at least for a while now will still be available to replace, repair. But the body, and you know, I took it to my pool league one day, and some guy runs into it, and he didn't break anything. I just had to polish the spot where he ran into it. But just that happening, I mean, I parked by myself. The car, I went out of my way to keep that car from getting nicked up anytime I could, and I thought, well, if I get a new car, it'll be a car you can just drive and not worry about so much. Of course, I parked off in the back 40 when I had it out today, but
sure. Now, my ATS-V is, you know, according to Cadillac, it's about a second or a second and a half quicker than my STS-V was. Your impression also has been that your ATS-V is a better runner than your XLR-V was, right?
yes, I would, and the guy who went with me, we would both say it's definitely noticeably faster than the XLR-V was. And the XLR-V, it ran good. It had a tune and cold air. And my guess would have been it would be in the 1270, 1280 range in a quarter mile. I'm pretty sure this one would be a lot lower. Still in the 12s, you know, but quite a bit quicker than that XLR. One day I might find out.
Yeah, I think the ATS-Vs are surprisingly quick. And part of that is their weight, right? That they're right at 3,800 pounds with 464 horsepower and 445 foot-pounds of torque. And it's that part that people don't understand, how wide the torque band is in these twin turbo engines.
I was surprised, I guess. The XLR only weighed about 3,800. Horsepower was 440 to start with. Cold air tune improved it. Should have been a dead tie, wouldn't you think? But it wasn't.
You think. Now, that 8-speed transmission does make a difference, and the being able to put the power to the ground makes a difference, right?
Well, the XLR put it to the ground real well. I think the 8-speed, it seems to me like it keeps it in the torque range. You know, it doesn't drop out of the torque as far when it shifts every time. So I think that's probably got a lot to do with it.
It seems to just bang from gear to gear when you're at wide open throttle. There's something that bangs every time I shift gears, and I don't mean in a bad way. I mean, it just goes, you know,
Quickly.
it's not like an old GM transmission where it would, you know, it's just off it goes, and it could just be the tires slipping slightly or similar. But if you're watching at home and you wish you were on chatting with us, hit the Q&A and let me know, or contact me if you have my IM, or if you have some way to contact me, let me know and I'll send you an invitation. Now, the other thing you can do is if you go to the caddyinfo.com to the forums, there's actually a topic for this week's chat, and there's a jump-in link there in the topic. And if you click on that, it gives you direct access to the chat so that you can come on the video chat. So if you're wanting to do that, that's how you do it. But if you contact me, I can send you an invitation, and I think I have sent wide invitations to anyone likely to check in. So I am very glad you got that. Let's keep in mind some. Well, you know, first thing is I have to catch up on the clay bar challenge, but let's keep in mind some using the PDR, who can set the best G-force or the highest G-force level, and who can set the low 0 to 60 time, and so on.
Do we have the same tires, Bruce?
I believe we do. Now, I think all the ATS-Vs have the Michelin Super Sport tires. Is that what you think?
Yes, I think they're Michelin Pilotport, Super Sport, something.
Now, and the reason Mike's asking that is Mike has the sedan, the 4-door, and I have the coupe, the 2-door. But the coupe has the coupe is half an inch longer. Don't know why, but the coupe's half an inch longer, and it's 1 inch wider in the rear track.
And it's $2,000 more expensive to make with less doors. It makes no sense to me.
You have to pay extra for the sportiness.
The base price is $2,000 cheaper
More.
for the two-door. I mean,
Yeah.
more for the two-door. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, that's the BMW model, is that the two-door is more exclusive, so it costs a little bit more than the four-door. As I said, I've got Cadillac's doing Truth or Dare events. I'll keep going. You put us on mute, and you can go see what the boss needs.
Okay, she's done. Carry on.
Cadillac's doing Truth or Dare events, and the way this works is it's kind of a marketing event to get people out to come drive the cars and see what Cadillacs are like. They set it up at a parking lot, like at a stadium or somewhere. In this case, it's in Arlington at the Globe Park, and you come, and they'll have, you know, water and snacks and so on. But you come, and you can drive an ATS-V on an acceleration course. You can drive the CT6 on a handling course or a rough road course and so on. That, you know, you get in line and drive different Cadillacs. And usually it's just a fun day out from my point of view, is you get to see different Cadillacs and get to actually get behind the wheel and enjoy them. And so, and they're doing this at different points around the country. Where you can find out about when they're coming to your area is Cadillac has set up a Truth or Dare website, and then it shows where the next event is at any given time and so on. And so I think it's Truth or Dare, but I will put the link. It's actually CadillacTruthAndDare.com, but I will put the link in today's thread. And then what you can do is, if you have a code because you got an email because you're on Cadillac's mailing list, then you can register. And if you don't have a code, there's a way to register. When you register, be ready too, because they'll ask you, which of your friends could we invite to come with you? And they'll send them separate emails saying, you know, hey, do you want to come drive some Cadillacs? But it's a free event. You know, it's something that you can get involved in. And as I say, if you're a big Cadillac fan, like as I am, then it's just a fun morning. They say plan for, you know, 3 hours or something. I don't know that we'll be there that long, but I figure it'd be a good photo opportunity. And I haven't driven the CT6 yet. I need to get over to Crest and check out a CT6 for the weekend. But I think this will be an opportunity to get in one and see what I think.
It's definitely a big car, isn't it?
Yeah, full-size Cadillac. And as I posted yesterday in the blog, the full-size Cadillacs are leading sales right now. The XCS and the CT6 were up 35%.
Awesome. You know, that's where Cadillac came from to start with.
That's the roots. That's the roots. Get the young people in the big cars and show them that that's a great date car and be happy.
Yeah.
Now, we had one of the, I want to hear your opinion. One of our forum readers had posted, they wanted to buy a car and find any model in between 1971 and 1993. So what's your favorite Cadillac between 71 and 93? Any model.
Oh, 93. When did the Eldorado that looked like a 96 start?
Well,
I don't think it was a 93.
Yeah, the Eldorado ETC actually came out in 92 along with the new STS. And then I think they came out together in 92, got the North Stars in 93, but continued on where the base model had the 4.9 and the ETC had the North Star. And they actually had three models for a minute there, where there was the ETC had the high performance North Star, and there was a middle model that had the low performance North Star, and there was the standard model that had the 4.9 liter.
Well, that Eldorado would be my favorite of the cars.
And I think I think the one that people are kind of pointing at is like the 92 with the 4.9 liter. So would you go with the 93 with the North Star or the 4.9 liter?
North Star, I love them.
Yeah. What if you had to change the head gaskets, Mike?
Oh, you mean you're buying one today? And I see what you're saying. Well, that might change things.
Yeah, if you were buying one today, if you're buying one today that was going to be your daily driver, would you get a 92 with a 4.9 liter or a 93 with the North Star? Now, the 4.9 liter had 200 horsepower. The North Star had 295.
I would still get the North Star, but I would have a block tester kit test done on it before I ever bought it.
You know, another smart way to do that would be send it to Body by Fisher or to our friend in Indianapolis or Tim Carroll here in Dallas, and just have them go ahead and change the head bolt, change the head gasket, change the head bolts as soon as you bought it, right?
Right.
Put that $2,000. Yeah. Put that $1,500 up, but that's good for 100,000 or 150,000 miles. And if you're buying a car today, that's probably the life of the car, right?
Well, yeah, that's cheap for what you're getting done to continue to drive for years.
Yeah. But worst case, you trailer it to somebody and have them do it later, as you say. So you do a head kit, do a test to see if it's blown before you buy it. Don't buy it if it's blown. Or if you are going to buy it if it's blown, then take out the cost of having it repaired. Subtract from the gas price $2,000 to have it repaired. And
I think there's a lot of people with those cars still that have them or buy them today they don't realize the head gasket's what's wrong with it when there is something wrong with it. I'm pretty sure there's some people getting rid of them knowing it, and there's a lot of people that don't know what's wrong with them.
Yes.
I ran across a STS 2 or 3 months ago that was pretty cheap, but they had changed a bunch of stuff, and he had head gasket problems, but the guy who had it didn't realize it.
Or didn't want to.
Well, this guy just got it. He was probably the sucker on the end.
Yeah, but we have people come on the forums that are that way, where they bought the car and the first day they had it, it started overheating, and they don't know what's wrong with it and ask for help and so on. And so now, how many miles do you think is too many for a Cadillac?
Too many?
Too many.
Well, I don't know. It depends. I think that all depends if you can work on your car or not.
Well, yeah, if you can't work on your car, a used car is probably a bad choice for you. If you don't have a mechanic, I wouldn't buy a used Toyota if I didn't have a mechanic I could take it to. If I couldn't work on it and I didn't have a mechanic, don't buy a used car.
If you can't afford a new car and you're going to buy a used car and you need to drive it for a while, I think 150,000 is no problem.
You'd buy a car with 150,000 miles on it?
No, I would buy one thinking I could drive it to 100.
Buy one. Now, I did that with my 96. I bought it with 85,000 miles on it, figuring that it would go 150,000 without any problems. And unfortunately, I have a long list of problems that I documented in the period that I owned the 96. So,
my first Cadillac North Star was a Eldorado that had 74,000 when we got it, and as far as heads or anything, it had no problems. I think
nice.
my daughter took it to Florida. It had something over 100. She drove it to college and then took it to Florida afterwards. And the transmission got stuck in second. I believe it was a solenoid probably, but she was broke and just ended up trading it in on something.
Well, that's a shame. But yeah, if it breaks on the road, that's a challenge. But
well, she had it down in Florida for a while, but she didn't really know people. And if I was there, I probably could have tried to change that solenoid, but the way it was, she just traded in for a car.
But this is, if I were trying to steer someone toward the most reliable Cadillac or the easiest to work on, I definitely think I would say either one of the early Escalades, because you got a front engine, longitudinal mounted engine. It's a Chevy small block V8. You know, the Cadillacs used a custom version. The L92 is different than the LS2 that the Corvettes were using at the time, but it's fundamentally every shop knows how to work on it, right?
Right.
Every shop everywhere in the world knows how to repair that engine, and the truck is set up to where people can work on it. So that would be one of my choices. Another choice is a 94 to 96 Cadillac Eldorado Brougham, which had the LT1 Chevy V8 in it. I think that, and that's a big car with, and There were hundreds of thousands of similar cars, not Cadillacs, but Chevy Impalas, that were made on that same platform. And so spare parts are legion for that car. And it was
I
sold.
think I misunderstood what car you said. What car? What year?
The 94 to 96 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham. I may have said Eldorado.
Okay.
Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham.
Right.
The big full body D-type car. But in
So
the
that
B,
didn't have a North Star.
no, that had an LT1 350 in it. And
Right.
so again, small block Chevy, anybody can work on it. Now, if you want to hot rod your Cadillac, the very first hot rod Cadillacs that, first of all, that car, the 96 Fleetwood Brougham, people hot rodded that at the time. They'd put on superchargers and so on. Because the LT1 was used in the Corvettes, then it has a lot of aftermarket. But the LT1 had the OptiSpark, which has not been popular. The ignition system was fragile on it. So after that, the 2004 ATS-V, you had an LS6 engine, small block Chevy, put in the right way around. You got a four-wheel independent suspension, four-wheel brakes, rear-wheel drive, get it with a stick. And that's got to be one of the most maintainable and modifiable Cadillacs anywhere.
I think their rear ends were fragile if you hot rodded them.
That's true. You cannot just slam it into gear and pop the clutch, or you're going to have to redo the rear end, which thank God they fixed before we got to our ATS-Vs, right?
Right. Yeah.
They fixed that in the previous generation CTS-V. What they ended up doing was they put different diameter rear axles on them. What they found is on the first generation CTS-V, they used the same diameter rear axles, and they developed a resonance as the car accelerated, and they were snapping axles. And so by putting different diameter rear axles, meaning one of them is literally bigger around than the other one, then they don't develop that resonance. And so they can put the power down much better without snapping an axle.
Which side gets the big one?
Yes. But ours has an electronic limited slip differential. So it actually has electronic limited slip, which to me is interesting. But I still have not done the launch control on mine. So I actually need to get it out and run the launch control and see what the 0 to 60 time is. I wish I'd done it in the winter, in March before the weather got bad, because here it's 102 every day, and so I'm going to have a 102 performance number instead of a 76-degree performance number.
Right. It was 102 here today too.
Yeah.
Didn't get no breaks today.
Okay, so what was your pick though between? Okay, you said an you'd go with the 1993 Eldorado ETC with the North Star engine.
Right.
And if you needed to put head gaskets in it, you would.
Right. Just plan that ahead of time.
Okay. If I told you today, Mike, that in 2019, we have 2017 models coming out this year. So in 2 years, Cadillac is going to come out with a new mid-engine Cadillac XLR as a version of the new Corvette mid-engine car. And it's going to have a 750 horsepower small block Chevy engine in it, I guess mounted transverse. Will you be ready to trade for, $120,000 Cadillac?
I'm going to say no.
And why not? Because you're not a road racer?
Really, yeah. I think it'd be cool to have, but that's the whole point of it. It'd be cool. It wouldn't be practical. It wouldn't be something I could actually afford. Wouldn't necessarily be faster. I am amazed at the STS's cornering ability, but I surely wouldn't want to buy it just for that, or mainly because of that, because I don't have a use for that very often. And so the mid-engine whatever would be the same kind of deal. I don't know what I do with the cornering ability day after day. I'd never reach its limits or get close, I'm sure. Although I'm sure to get a ticket going around the corner in this one, like I did my Trans Am.
Yeah, I don't, we'll have to wait and see. I don't see wanting to trade the ATS-V for one, but we'll have to wait and see. But the same question would be if they come out with an ATS-V with the small block Chevy in it, would you rather have that or the twin turbo V6?
It would depend how much faster it was. Just a little bit faster, and I just can keep the 6-cylinder.
Now, one of the other things I want to mention is my car friend Barry Lohman from Motorama. We do the Motorama chat on Wednesday nights. It's centered around Twitter, hashtag Motorama, MOTOR. AMA, Motorama. But Barry is a closed road racer. So he goes to the different, like the Silver State Classic, and does open road racing is what I should say. I said closed road, but open road racing. And so
that's autocross, and that's a regular track.
This is where they shut down the highway for 50 miles. And they let you run it at the speed based on your class.
That'd be interesting.
And so when you first start out, what they do is you kind of have to earn your driver's license with them. So the first year they say, Mike, we're going to put you in the 115 mile per hour class. So you cannot go faster than 125 miles per hour over the 60 miles course. And the race is whoever comes the closest to an exact time of 115 miles per hour, if that's your class, an exact time of 115 miles per hour over both legs, 60 miles there and 60 miles back. Whoever gets it exactly wins the race.
So if you're a better driver than what your class is, you speed along and then watch your clock, and when you get to the end, you race across the finish line.
They're using rally computers and double stopwatch. Normally you run these with a navigator who's watching the GPS, and he's giving you rally instructions. Like we're coming up on a sweeping left hand, and then there's a 3-mile straightaway. Now, last year they ran in the 100, this year they were in the 155 mile per hour class. But some years they've run like in 145, 150, come within less than 1/2 second of a perfect time, and come in 8th or 9th place.
Really?
So these are these are people who know exactly. I loved what one of the drivers said is as they're approaching the finish line, his navigator will count down for him 10, 9, 8, 7, so that he knows exactly when to cross the finish line.
Yes, I bet they've taken miles an hour versus 1,000 feet or 10,000 feet or whatever, and say we're a little ahead, we're a little behind.
Yeah, so they lost by something like 4 feet over 120 miles.
Kind of like drag racing, where they bracket race.
Now, but this is my premise, Mike. I don't care whether I win or lose. You get to drive your new ATS-V at 115 miles an hour for 60 miles.
Right.
That's the way I'm looking at it. And no tickets. Yeah. No traffic. No traffic. Now, they send these cars off every 30 seconds. So you kind of have to watch your rearview mirror in case somebody swoops by that's busy going faster than you are, and stay over to the side. But basically, you can use both lanes of the road and so on.
That would be interesting.
So I'm thinking about going to do this in Texas next April. And where you can read up on this race is it's bbor.com, Big Bend Open Road Race. They run from Stockton, Texas to another little town nearby. And there are 67 turns on the course. 67 turns on the course, but they're basically sweeping turns. So I'm thinking I'll go out and check this out. Now there is some expense associated with it. If you were going to want to come race, you probably need to budget $3,000 or $3,500, something in that range. Because do you have a driving suit?
No, sir.
Yeah. So you'll have to have a fireproof suit. You have to have a spec helmet, and a fireproof mask that you wear under the helmet, fireproof gloves, special driving shoes that are fireproof. We'll have to mount a fire extinguisher in the ATS-V. And there's a registration fee of probably $1,000 or something, and you'll have to stay at a hotel while you're there. So I'm thinking it's $3,000. What?
What do you win? What do you win when you're a novice and win this thing?
A trophy. It's all about the fun, right?
Right.
It's all about, to me, it's all about, oh, I get to drive my ATS-V 115 miles per hour. Cool. Or 120 miles per hour for 60 miles. Cool.
Right.
Sign me up. And I think we could drive 120 miles an hour and not brake for any corner. But I've been watching the YouTube videos of different kinds of cars and where they were on the course and so on. You can look up this Big Bend Open Road Rally on YouTube and actually see cars going down the 60 miles. And my guess is the ATS-V would not need any braking around those corners at 120. Really? And so if you're going 115, then okay. But yeah, we'll need some kind of rally computer. I don't think the PDR would work, but it's not as real time as you need. And so we'll need some kind of rally computer. But yeah, my friend knows all about it. Unfortunately, he's going to be racing in the race, so I don't think he's actually going to be useful to me. So I'm going to have to learn.
You can't learn by being a co-pilot?
Well, what I may do is learn by just going out, being around the event, and offer to be a course worker. They need cars to sit out along the course in case people wrap up their car on the way, because they do have cars that go in an unlimited class up to 200 or 230 miles per hour down the road. But I think the best way to learn about it would be to go and do it.
So they got very fast cars on that thing.
Well, yeah, you have all kinds of super modified cars that are purpose built just for the race, just for top speed racing, open road racing. But I'm not about that. What I'm about is enjoying my V car in an environment where you can run it, where you can let it lope along at 115 miles an hour for an hour. Right.
What you need to do is you need to get your own little race with some other novice. Get them in there.
Oh, you're going to have everybody in the class is going to be a novice, although there will be people running in the novice class just to get their license. But there will be also people running in the novice class hoping to be able to get a trophy because everybody else is, 10 seconds off the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm seriously thinking about it. And, I used up my vacation this year off visiting Hawaii, which was a good time. But next year's a whole new bucket. And I'll have to negotiate with my wife to see if risking my life is a good use of my vacation time.
Well, of course it is, as long as it's your life, not hers.
That's not always the way she looks at it.
Well, you just have to up your insurance and you can convince her.
Yeah, well, yeah, I keep an unhealthy amount of insurance anyway. So I'm looking forward to finding out more about that, and I think it'll make a nice article for Caddy Info either way. And I'd like to see more Cadillacs in these open road races. And I think the way to do that is to take one to it.
I vote for you to do it.
Now, this is different. This is related in some ways, but different than the Texas Mile or the Arkansas Mile. And what those are is they're set up on airports where you get a standing start or a rolling start, and they measure your time over 1 mile. And those are strictly top speed. What's the fastest you can go 1 mile? That's not what this is. Open road racing is where they've closed the highway. They have shut down the highway over a 60-mile stretch. And they have people monitoring to make sure nobody comes out on the highway over that 60-mile stretch. And then you're timed for your speed class. They have all different speed classes, but your time, can you make it in the perfect time for your speed class? So it's not even, it's more of a rally than a race in that sense, because you're not trying absolute top speed. The ATS-V will go 189, but if you go 189 as a rookie, you'll be disqualified.
Right.
So,
speaking of this Texas Mile, I just watched some supercar doing that on YouTube today, and he didn't have good results.
Oh no!
No, he didn't run into anything. In fact, I think it was a GTR maybe, and I don't know how fast he was going, well over 100, and just let off the gas, and next thing you know, he's over sliding around.
Yeah, there was Jay Leno had a close call this year where there was a gentleman that had a funny car that was designed to pop wheelies all the time. So they did that, and that worked out. But then when he tried to make a turn, it rolled over and over and over. And luckily, both of them were fine. It ruined the car, but both of them were fine. But yeah, we could have seen the last Jay Leno show right there.
Right.
He's not a young fella, and so thank goodness their safety gear saved them.
Yes, it's proof that you need to have that stuff, even though you don't think you're going that fast. Or, I mean, they weren't really doing anything spectacular at that point when he turned it over.
Yes. Now, Mike, I wanted to clear this with you, and then we'll have to wrap up for the evening. But I wanted to clear this with you because I know I had put your name on my extra LC3 supercharger, but I'm guessing you're not going to be needing to buy it now.
That's correct. Now, I sent you a private message a little while ago about that.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I apologize. So I will correspond with you privately on that topic. But no, I didn't see a note from you.
I had completely forgot about that thing.
Maybe it went. Maybe your note went somewhere else. But I was going to say, I will move that along somewhere else. I will release you from your offer.
I appreciate that. I didn't. If you were going to have a problem with it, I would still take it. But
well, that's kind of you. It actually, I was going to reach out to my friend Tim Carroll, who rebuilds custom Cadillacs, and see if he wanted to try and use it in someone's project car, you know, to make a 4.6 liter supercharged North Star.
Right.
All you'd have to do is rig a radiator and an intercooler pump to go with it, and everything else is there, right?
I don't know how all the controllers and stuff would be
yeah, you're right. Maybe not, but
some kind of computerized. I'm sure it'd be different.
You'd have to tune it. So if you're out there and you wish you had a North Star supercharger, I have one for sale. I'll make you a great offer on it. So, and it's in Plano, Texas, plain old Texas, just north of Dallas. Mike, very good to see you. Thank you for being on tonight.
Ditto. I'm glad I could finally make it. Hey, before you get away, I have a question. I had a message pop up on the lower right of my screen that said there was 4 messages in Caddy Info Chat, but I don't see any messages over here in the message group chat column.
Now, what you're seeing in the lower right-hand screen is the forum is popping up and letting you know that people have updated the thread you posted to.
Oh, okay. It wasn't about our chat.
No, I think that that's actually cool because, yeah, I don't see anything in chat or in Q&A that we need to respond to. I think that's actually cool because with Windows 10, the new forum software will do that, where it'll pop up notifications in my Windows, you know, even when I'm not in the forum, to let me know somebody has posted. And so I think that's cool. Now,
Yeah.
if you get notifications in the forum, the way you check that is up at the top, there's a bell that's for notifications, an alarm bell. Or if you get messages, there's an envelope there that you can click on, and that will take you to your notifications or to your messages. And of course,
Right.
I always use activity and then all activity just to see everything that's happened on the forum.
I don't know what happened to that message. I did look through my messages earlier, and I don't know if it had outbound messages, but I didn't see that message I sent you on me.
Oh, you sent me a message in the forum? Okay. I thought you meant you. Mike actually has my phone number and my IM, and sometimes we IM back and forth. And so I was assuming that that's where I was looking, not on the forum, but I don't see the forum either. Thank you, though, Mike, for being on. I'm so thrilled that you got an ATS-V. I feel like, you know, I share the happiness of getting mine all over again.
Right. I'm glad. I appreciate it. I enjoy it. I enjoyed hearing about yours when you got it.
Okay, so I'm taking the clay bar challenge, and as soon as you get your 1,500 break-in miles done, then we will chat about the next challenge.
Yes. I'm going to take my wheels off the next day or two and probably put that Zano on the wheels and try to keep the brake dust down.
Oh, well, I'm interested in how that works.
I know the bugs wiped off real easy yesterday.
Yay.
Yes, I was pretty impressed with Zano.
Good. Good. Yeah, people that use Zano rave about it, and so I understand where you're coming from. But yeah, I need to go spend an hour clay barring the car first so I can catch up on the paint challenge, and then we'll work on the acceleration or the other things. I was trying to think there was of what else I have done. Have you played with the PDR at all?
Yeah, I've used it just to record driving down Main Street.
Oh, cool.
Actually, that's not true. I did go around the curve the other day and I had it on, and so I looked at it, the G-forces and all that, but there was a car coming and got in my way. I had to slow down.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten close to not 0.9 Gs on any curves. And so I need to get out like in a parking lot where it's safe to slide and see if I can get closer to, you know, Cadillac Jump talks about getting 0.94 or over 1 G on his CTS-V out on the highway. So I haven't seen anywhere close, you know, and hard G turns, I haven't seen anywhere close to 1 G. And so clearly I am not the daredevil driver that you've been led to believe on the internet. All right. Have a good night, Mike. Good to see you. I'm going to hit the stop broadcast.